thank you, Mark, for your help. I know that for those that aren't sort of familiar with what I've been going through a bit of a weird journey where I'm a bit confused about my politics, and I've kind of lost my way a little bit.
I'll say.
And you reached out to me. We've been friends for a while, and you very kindly offered to help
I'd
me.
call it doxing, but that's okay.
Yeah, but sometimes stalking works, right? I mean, that's the thing. So
I don't stalk because I'm not a problematic white male. I dox.
Okay, all right. That's good.
It sounds like
I'm learning.
Supremacy. It sounds like the white supremacy that's in your brain. It's like kind of one track. So trigger warning for anyone who would be offended by trains, because I know the Chinese population helped build those. My apologies, but sometimes plain language is the only thing that works.
Yes. Now, so
you haven't done a territorial acknowledgement yet, though, and I don't think we can properly proceed unless you do one. And whatever the traditional songs of your people, or the indigenous people of your land are, I want you to do one of those songs first.
Okay. Well, I can acknowledge that.
Do you have an Aboriginal elder nearby that could bless this podcast episode?
No.
But let me guess, you probably have a Nazi SS officer nearby, don't you? It's a child I hear in the background.
It is. I'm ruining the planet. I've really lost my way.
I bet it's a white one too.
Yes.
Do they not have?
He's a male.
Do they not have? Oh, so like a pre-rapist.
Yes.
Yeah. Do they not have abortion in Australia? Are you one of those countries that doesn't have universal health care? like Trump's America? Trump. You guys like Trump down in Australia? Isn't Australia full of inmates and convicts? Which on the one hand confuses me because they are a marginalized group. No, but they weren't POC inmates. No, never mind. Hope they got raped while they were in prison. But no, that's kind of tempting too, because if it was POC men raping, fuck, that sounds hot. Okay. Anyway.
Okay. So thank you, Mark.
Because I don't really acknowledge your womanhood. I don't mind talking over you because I know that I can
see that
fine. In your mind that
because
you're thinking, oh, why? And just so
and that's the bit where I'm confused, because I was told by you that I wasn't a real woman.
You're talking over me right now. I'm gender fluid, and right now it's 2:48 a.m. and I'm feeling feminine. So I need you to wait till I'm finished before you can start talking. And you always have to listen to my experience. If I say that you can put tinfoil in a microwave and you disagree, that's rape culture. Okay, I'm finished. So
everyone, I was doing an introduction, which is my friend Mark, who has very kindly offered to help me find the error of my ways, because I've clearly been wrong on a few issues, and it's very important that I get back to being a real feminist. And we're not friends. Oh, okay. Sorry.
I'm not friends with people like.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right. So I appreciate your emotional labor that you're gifting me with right now in terms of educating me.
Like so much. I'm about to give birth. That's how much labor I feel right now. But
really?
I'd have an abortion, unlike you, piece of shit, fucking contributing to the white fucking supremacy. Oh, sorry. Let me check. Is the father POC?
No.
Okay, yeah. Nazi. Oh, wait. Is the father trans? Are you trans? Wait, I'm sorry. Are you trans?
Yes, you are. Actually, hang on. You assumed my gender.
Well, I mean, I've checked you out. I can just tell by people spelling what they are and what they aren't.
Okay.
See, when you're on this, when you're part of the community, you can sort of we're all kind of like, we can intuit. We just sort of know who's an ally and who's not. And
so is that what I'm missing?
Yeah, I think
I lack, because I'm autistic. I have that sort of inability to see the logic.
You're autistic. Okay, that
yes.
You get
and ADHD.
You get 6 points plus being a woman. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
That's a bunch of points. So maybe
I'm
we could be
disabled.
friends.
I have
Maybe we
health
could.
problems.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. There you go. So I mean, I don't. If
I'm
you're
1/16.
autistic,
Hey, actually, hang on. Now we're talking about it. I'm 1/16th gypsy.
that's a problematic term. And I don't know how you're not going to understand this because the colonialism and patriarchy. So let me explain why that's an offensive term to your people. Gypsy they should be called Romani, and just because they steal and rip people off and like camp out on people's property does not give you the right to make fun of them, even if it's your own people.
Okay, so thank you for that. That was again, this is in the spirit of learning. So
Any money you make off this, I get 75% of for the way because we have. That's how you. It's a justice tax.
me,
Any money you get for this, I get
mm,
78% of, depending on which mathematics you're using to determine the wage gap.
and
Because
why
I'm a
is that?
female and I deserve money for labor I've put into this. And right now I'm very triggered by your looking at you,
Yeah,
and I'm going to compensation for it. I call it an honorarium, and because, as I said, I have Indigenous blood in me, I'm
yeah, I
entitled to
understand.
it.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fair. That's fair. That seems fair. Um, am I? Is it my turn to speak now? Am I allowed to?
Hold on. Okay, now
Okay. So the conversation that we had offline involved you explaining.
that wasn't my dick pic that I sent. By the way, that was someone else got a hold. Mark Hughes, that piece of shit, I think got a hold of my phone. I didn't send that dick pic or ask to have sex with you for money. That wasn't
Yeah,
me.
he's always doing shit like that.
I would never do that as a feminist. I would just never try and oppress a woman, even if they are a piece of shit white supremacist Nazi. I would never do that to a woman.
Mm.
Well, maybe. Okay, no, it wasn't me.
Well, Mark said that you broke into his house, so I don't know who to believe.
Sometimes for the revolution, like laws are made up by the oppressors, and I don't recognize their laws. So, and also he is for sure the most problematic person I've ever met. So he doesn't have rights.
Okay.
Only the marginalized have rights. The people in power don't deserve rights.
Okay. So can you clarify how you are marginalized?
Gender fluid.
What does
Identify
that
as
mean? Can
female.
you explain that to me? Because this is where I've lost my way because I don't understand what that means. Can you
Well,
explain it to me?
sometimes depending on my mood or where the stars are in the sky, the seasons, who I'm talking to, if I want to have sex with them or not, determines how I gender express. If you ask for any more
Okay.
clarification, that is going to be rape, though. So that you're gonna have that definition is gonna have to suffice for you. I don't have to keep on explaining this. If you don't get, you just have to listen to my experience. Okay.
I am.
Do you get that? Does that make any sense to you? So anyway, gender fluid. I'm Muslim, depending on who I'm around and how hot the guy is. I'm not POC, but I definitely wouldn't mind one of them impregnating me. I have many disabilities.
Impregnating you?
Oh, well, it might
Can
not
you get
happen.
pregnant?
That's not up for you to decide. Pregnancy is a construct too, and me and Jerome just have to try and try and try and try and try. So, I have disabilities that you wouldn't understand and that the government doesn't recognize, but I shouldn't have to work. My parents should just give me the money I need for rent, and because they're racists, and it's a justice tax.
Hmm.
Working and earning money to pay people for use of their property is Nazism.
Yeah. Where did you go to school? Tell me a bit about you.
Well, school is one of those things where, like, I a lot of online universities, you
Okay.
they like when you go on certain Tumblr groups that they have these online, like a shaman will be running it, or like a gender fluid two-spirit elder, and they'll teach you about social justice and stuff like that. Ayahuasca ceremonies, sit-ins, Occupy movements. It's very informal, but
is that same thing that you were talking about before, about that Intuit style of communication, where it's it feels correct?
Once you've been around enough trans people and taken enough hormone blockers, you'd sort of go to a different dimension. It's not something that you would understand or would even be allowed into. But I can just sort of intuit who is an ally and who is deserving of love, empathy, and who isn't.
Okay.
You're borderline right now.
Borderline. Okay.
Borderline. Sorry if you.
I think we know what. Are you talking about the illness?
Borderline personality disorder. Yeah.
So I need your help. This is what. Okay. So if I could just move forward. As you know, I have found out that like I was called a TERF.
Yes.
Right. I don't fully understand what that means, and I really just don't get what the fuss is about.
Well,
because it seems like it's obvious to me, but I'm really just struggling to understand. So I thought that you could help me understand what feminism is.
What it stands for is trans exclusionary radical feminist, which is an offensive term in and of itself, because you aren't a feminist if you're a TERF, as far as I'm concerned. You're an honorary cisgendered white male, as far as I'm concerned. If you're a TERF, you're automatically a member of the Nazi Party. I would think it should be tyrannical, eradicating retard female is what I think TERF should stand for. I don't make these decisions, though. It has to go in front of a panel and a board, and there's got to be committees and like sit-ins and protests and stuff like that. But yeah, that's my. Okay. I'm gonna push for it, though. Yeah.
Okay, so the thing that I'm not understanding about this is that feminists have always been fairly cool with trans people. My
not
understanding,
cool enough, clearly.
Well, my understanding is that we were just really asking questions about.
Well, you're
self-ID, not.
You're just not catching on that men are the new women. Like, how do you not get that? How are you not? Society changes, terms change. Like, men are better women than you can ever be anyway. But they're not men, they're women. They're more women than you're ever going to be. Just because my ovaries are on the outside doesn't make me less of a woman. So just because I have a single external fallopian tube, or as I call it, an outie vagina, that makes me more of a woman than you.
Why would that be?
I wouldn't expect you to understand. It's just it's like an evolutionary thing. It's once I've put that thing that I jerk off is just one. It's just symbolic of that jerking off, that the bulbous, well, not so big in my case, but like it when it sprays that fluid, that's the gender fluid. So if it can create the gender fluid, why would you question it?
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, exactly. Don't have to retort to that, eh?
No, I'm actually I think you're making sense now. So I'm trying to understand. So you think that gender fluid is an actual fluid?
Yeah.
A bodily fluid.
And I think you should drink more of it, and then you'd understand. Only from trans women, though.
Oh, it's funny.
Well, do you want to be an ally or not? That's the quickest. You don't need to be educated if you can just drink it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, maybe I might get some of that osmosis.
Let's put it this way: it's not Kool-Aid we're drinking at these orgies all the time. You know what I mean?
Okay, I think I'm getting a sense of this. So, So why are TERFs bad? Because I thought that they were just, from my like limited understanding
Because
of this
why
topic.
I should just be able to go into a woman's washroom
Mm,
and like, you know, say, "Hey, girls, look at us all together, like us ladies always do. Um, can you hand me a tampon?" And then, "Oh, hey, oops, need some help because I'm overworked because of all the emotional labor from the patriarchy, and then you should just insert it in my back vagina." Why is that? What's the like? And if
well, I
you're like,
think that
"Oh,"
that's
and if
fine.
you're if you're like, "Hey, that's just tomato juice that you're spraying out of your back vagina," why do you not like why that's more real than fucking Menzies?
mm,
And why would you want Menzies anyway? What are the first three letters spell?
mm,
So why would you want to be attached to that? Tomato juice, bit of fucking anchovy paste, up the old back vagina, out it comes, right? It's a cleansing.
mm,
You have that if you have the the menstrual cocktail,
mm,
you have complete agency over your menstrual cycle.
mm,
You
that's
get to
true.
read it's postmodernism
Mm.
attached with your vagina. I
And
don't
it's
know why
also good
you
for the
want
economy. I can't see
good for the
it's a win-win.
economy. It's sexy, tastes good. Why do you turfs have such a problem with this?
Well,
Like,
it
we're
sounds to
just trying to
me,
help. We're trying
yeah.
to liberate you too,
Well, it
right?
seems, yeah, and I appreciate that because I think that it's just that we're not fully grasping
And this cotton
I think it's
ceiling
just,
thing,
yeah.
this cotton ceiling thing that you guys say, like that we have to experience all the time. Like,
Mm,
why don't you just rip your panties off and just let us do what we got to do? Then there's no ceiling anymore. We just bust ceilings. Like glass ceilings can be smashed, cotton ceilings can be ripped, and like
mm,
if we want to have sex with you as like it's us gender fluid or trans people,
mm,
like and you don't want to because you find us repulsive and disgusting, you're just transphobic. It's
mm.
not rape. You're just transphobic.
But isn't see, and that's where I think I'm struggling to understand a bit because I don't think that this is a phobia as such. Because honestly, everything, anchovies, fucking tomato juice, popsicles, all that great stuff,
Mm,
that's
mm.
fantastic. I think it's great. I think you should do you, right? The only thing that I have an issue with is that it is in a public facility where that might be, I'm not saying you would do that. I'm just saying that it might be open to exploitation by people that aren't as like feminist as you and you know
If
such a good ally.
by virtue of being an intersectional feminist, trans, gender fluid, there's no way I can exploit. All I do is freedom fight. All we do is freedom fight. If you have if you're not liking something we do, that's because you're bigoted on some level.
Okay.
You're being bigoted. Again, if I'm a trans person, which I am sometimes, and you don't want to have sex with me, and I have sex with you, that's not rape like you guys say it is.
No, I
That's
rate you.
transphobia.
Yeah.
No, it's transphobia. It's transphobia.
Transphobia.
It's
So it
transphobia.
sounds to me like a pretty valid concern rather than a
Yeah.
phobia. It seems like a most people might have
Well,
concerns about that.
some people look at me and they go, "Oh, of course I'd be scared of that person. Jesus Christ, look at them." And credit where credit is due, they didn't misgender me, right? Or
Yeah.
they're like, you don't shower. That's disgusting. I'm terrified." And I'm like, showering's just a symbol, is a tool of the colonialist like agenda that gets people to be clean for like the male gaze.
Okay.
That's the problem. You're still trapped in this. It's not your fault. I
Yeah,
mean,
I know. I'm trying really hard because I always thought that I was a fairly good person and on the right side of history. So I
but you
apologize
guys
if I'm
always knew.
confused.
That's when you guys thought you were good when the trains were pulling up and you were throwing the Jews on and then taking them off to camps. I mean,
Hmm.
now that we know how
Well,
Jews are with Israel, it's too bad they didn't do more of them. right? But it's and we know how bad they are to Palestinians. Like it's maybe like I don't know, maybe the Holocaust, maybe those numbers weren't as accurate as they say, because if they really done as many, they wouldn't be as mean to the Arabs, right? But that's Palestine and Israel is a complicated subject that I wouldn't
Yeah,
expect you to understand.
yeah. I think that yeah, I'd rather focus on the gender stuff if we can, because that's the area where I'm having the most trouble. Okay,
Okay.
because I'm obviously I'm feeling this. I don't
If
like
you
being a
were to
bad person, so
if
I'm
you
trying.
were to buy me a plane ticket to your problematic country, um, I could like give you a therapeutic massage that would help you with some oils and stuff that you'd have to buy, of course. And we could have a Kundalini experience where I could maybe transmit some of this to you sexually, and then you'd understand. Then it would kind of it would. It's not quite osmosis; it's osmosis.
It sounds like a very transcendent experience.
It really is. It really is.
Mm.
I mean, for a Nazi, you're kind of sexy under certain circumstances. Um, I think I could maybe fuck the hate out of you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think really having sex with me, whether you want to or not, is the only way you're going to learn.
Okay. Well, my husband might have an issue with that.
He can watch. I get it. Then I'll watch when hey, I'm a cuck. No big deal. Right?
Yeah. So the thing that I'm not understanding here, again, I've got a lot of reading to do. Obviously, obviously all of the feminist like material that I've been reading is all wrong, and I've got a lot more reading to do.
Clearly.
So I've really just got to deep dive into Tumblr and burn those other books. So
with that narrow mind, I don't even know if you can absorb any more information.
Yeah, yeah. I think I've reached my physical limit, because the brain does fill up. It's one of those things that it's science. So, uh, but I think I'm just not understanding because I'm autistic and I just don't see the fairy dust that's going on around here. Maybe that's just my lack of social understanding that men can identify as a woman without actually explaining what that means. What does it mean to you? What does it mean? So are you so you're gender fluid or non-binary? Are they different things?
These are terms that they're different, but again, it depends. In this context, I'm going to be whatever you hate. That's what I'm going to be. So whatever you hate, that's what I am, because that's how I fight. Yeah.
Okay, I don't hate anything, but I can laugh at it.
That's not that. I don't believe you. You hate. You really what this indicates to me is, as a woman, you hate yourself.
Okay.
That's because we can be better women than you. So you're just like, oh, I'll never be as good as those trans. Look, they're with those fucking huge vaginas that they have that they can squirt out the gender fluid at the drop of a hat. Like you're just like, oh, I'm so just jealous bitches. Jealous bitches.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm all right. But so one thing that's been said by many people that, well, I've read is that this is a misappropriation of Foucault and Marx, and it's kind of like a bastardized version of that, and that it doesn't have any real basis in philosophical theory, let alone any economics or any economic framework.
Do you think what we're doing is a theory? This is a war, and you've got to pick a side.
Okay, so who's on which side? I need to understand.
You're on one side and I'm on another, but we could fix that sexually. It's a sexual transmitted lesson
Via osmosis.
Insmosis.
In mensmosis.
Osmensis.
So is that with actual menses, or is that with anchovies and tomato juice?
That's me sticking my outie vagina inside your whichever hole you want, or all three. I'm assuming you have three. Or I watch as you relate to your husband if he's a POC. If he's not a POC, we'll rent a POC, and then I get to watch and then maybe have seconds like clean his outer vagina off too, with my mouth, because then all my speech will be pure.
But this sounds a little bit objectifying for both
Of course,
me and
don't try and misappropriate our cause. You don't speak this language. You don't get it. How dare you? I'm speaking right now. This is my experience. Do not try and talk over me. This is what all you white men do. It's obvious to me that you have not heard anything I've said. You've danced around me wanting to help you with the intimate lessons that only I could give you because you're a turf. It doesn't. You're basically just saying I'm not brave and beautiful. This interview's over.
Okay. Well, that went well.